This is Straight No Chaser Talk Radio. We're just getting started. Straight No Chaser Talk Radio.
He's drinking that with no chaser.
This is Straight No Chaser Talk Radio. We're just getting started. Straight No Chaser Talk Radio.
He's drinking that with no chaser.
This is Straight No Chaser Talk Radio. We're just getting started. Straight No Chaser Talk Radio.
He's drinking that with no chaser.
Hey. Good evening, folks. Good evening, and welcome to another edition of Straight No Chaser. This is Thin Bad, and we've got the Chief in the house.
Hey.
And we've got Shannon. She's joined us. She actually came back, y'all.
She's back. She's back.
We needed the mind of a woman.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. Our minds weren't working so hot.
No, that's right. So we're glad that we are all here. However, I hate to say it once again, Shannon and Chief, here we are on the other side of a it's a grand jury decision. And right now, as we speak, we've got protesters in Louisville, Kentucky, and probably other cities all across in DC, protesting the fact that the grand jury decided not to charge Louisville officers with killing the Breonna Taylor. The one charge that they did have was wanton endangerment. Chief, I'm gonna have to go to you later and figure out just what exactly that is.
Okay.
It doesn't feel like justice is too many syllables for there to be justice. Justice is a real quick word. Wanton endangerment. It is just once again. It seems that it's you kill a black life, and there is no real justice. I'd like to say I was surprised by the outcome, but to not even get to this wasn't even a regular jury trial. So we're talking about a grand jury, which if you can't get through a grand jury, then that's the proof. You need that proof to even bring it to a trial. We've seen the Attorney General in Kentucky all over the place. And I'm at a loss for words kind of right now, because this happens just too often. So I'm sure there are other sides to it. Chief, we're gonna lean on you quite a bit to give us, what could they possibly be looking at, and where does it go from here? Where does it stop? What are we doing, Shannon? I know that this has affected you too. You were, affected all of us. Everybody's kind of upset. Any lover of justice, as long as we've been going through this thing, as long as we've been hearing say her name, and then to have this come out this way is just, just crazy. Just crazy.
I agree.
Yeah.
When it came out today, you want to say you can't believe it because it's in the public eye so much right now.
Right.
But I'm not surprised. Let's say that.
Right. According to Kentucky statute, someone is guilty of wanton endangerment in the first degree when under the circumstances manifesting extreme indifference. Who can understand all this? To the value of human life, he wantonly engages in conduct which creates a substantial danger or death or serious physical injury to another person. Okay, that's a lot of words. I'm gonna read that one more time. I'm gonna take it slow in terms of what they say. So in Kentucky statute, someone is guilty of wanton endangerment in the first degree when under circumstances manifesting extreme indifference to the value of human life, he wantonly engages in conduct which creates a substantial danger or death or serious physical injury to another person. I don't know any other more serious physical injury to a person than death. So I don't even understand all those words or what it does. It's a class D as in David felony, the lowest of the 4 classes of felonies. Maximum sentence is 5 years. The minimum is 1 year. I don't know. Chief.
But Wendell, am I wrong? I don't think they charged. That wasn't because of Breonna Taylor. That was because the bullet went next door.
Right.
What he was charged with had absolutely nothing to do with Breonna, right?
Right. It's right. It's their next door neighbor's house that was bothered. So it's not even attaching itself to her case. Right. It comes out because of the case, but it's almost like if this were a movie and that particular charge, Breonna Taylor was an extra. She's just in the background. She's not even the main character in that particular movie. I mean, it's crazy. I'm hearing all kinds of police. I'm a mess with the chief. Police mumbo jumbo about no-knock warrants and the shooting and what's good and what's a good shooting and what's not. But then you have to get to the other case, or the other piece of it is, what were they doing there in the first place? Because that becomes an issue. So while the shooting may be quote unquote good or warranted, or they feared for their life and it's justified for the police, okay, but had they not been there in the first place, there would have been no shooting. So that's the circle that I keep finding myself in. If they want to say, well, it was a good shooting, okay, yeah, but it was a bad warrant or a bad arrest. So, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? And Chief, that's where I'm going to need you and 4 lawyers and 3 drinks to help me understand what kind of mess this is. I mean,
sure.
I don't get it. I don't get it. So can you help us, or do you need some time to figure this out? Because are you, at the end of the day, are you gonna sway me, or am I gonna have to slay you, Chief?
Well, I don't know how much I'm going to be able to sway you, but okay. If you remember when this first broke, I said, as I always do, I said, based on the available information, this is what I think. And so, at the time, I think there was at least 3 or 4 different versions of this thing that had come out. I remember at one point they had hit the wrong house. That was the initial report, that they hit the wrong house. They weren't even supposed to be there. And so we had that whole conversation about, when you're about to hit a house, here are the things that you should do. There's like a checklist of at least 15 to 20 things that you want to do as you're conducting your pre-raid activities. And, I was wondering whether those things had been done. And then, of course, subsequently, I was saying that, we don't know what other information is available that we haven't been privy to. And I believe that that may have been the case here. Now, I'm going to approach this from 2 perspectives, Thembad. I'm going to approach it from the aspect of how I'm thinking the Attorney General looked at this, possibly. And you remember when I said this the first time? Remember, you looked at me, if looks could kill. When I said this the first time. That's right. That's right. You looked at me like this. And I could feel it across the screen. Okay, so here's what I think. When in a lot of jurisdictions, they look at these cases and they gather all the information and the videos and witness statements and so forth. That's to sort of put the scene together. What happened leading up to the incident, what happened after the incident, the arrest, and all those other things. But there's a standard that is used for how you are supposed to handle these things, and that is what information was known to that officer at that instant moment, regardless of how compelling other information is after the fact. Okay, so let's take these officers that hit the house, for example. So now you and I and Shannon, we're part of the SWAT team. As far as we know, we've been provided this document, the search warrant, and says go hit 123 Anywhere Street. So the document's been signed by a judge, and as far as we know, we're going to hit 123 Anywhere Street. Okay, you with me?
I'm with you.
All right. So then we get up to 123 Anywhere Street, and we hit the house like we're supposed to. We get into 123 Anywhere Street, and unbeknownst to us, the people inside didn't hear us announce ourselves because it was a no-knock warrant. Okay. And again, they got it from the judge. Now we can talk about the no-knock warrants in a minute, because I know there's been a lot of consternation about those. Okay. So they got a no-knock warrant for this house, and they go in, and they're going in to do what the warrant says they can do. As they go into the house, they are met with gunfire. Now understand, the officers that are coming in on this warrant have no idea of what's about to happen other than somebody shot at them. And what they did instinctively is they shot back. And unfortunately, Miss Taylor was killed. Now, there's, obviously been a whole lot of stuff that has come out about this whole situation. The New York Times was reporting that they, one of the things that they had with this, well, a couple of things that the police department has was they had a surveillance log, and they had surveillance with a GPS tracker by Mr. Jamarcus Glover. That was the guy. He was the intended target, by the way. He had repeated trips to to her house. They had photographs of him emerging from her apartment with a package in his hand. Footage showing her in a car with Mr. Glover arriving at one of the trap houses he operated. Now, for those of you that don't know, a trap house, that's a place where you keep your drugs and your stash, your money, and those types of things. And also they are saying that he used her address on bank records and other documents. Now, when the narcotics guys are putting together a case, and you put all that information together, your surveillance, the bank records, there's always a document trail that you attempt to establish, and a whole lot of other things from A to Z. And based on some of that information that the Times is reporting, that's what went into the warrant that was used to get the no-knock warrant. Now, typically, at least in the past, now I don't know how they're going to do no-knock warrants in the future, if they're even going to allow them anymore in Louisville. But if you can show the judge, particularly with narcotics cases, that there is a danger that there's going to be gunfire or other things, you're trying to mitigate danger to the officer, and you're trying to mitigate danger to the public in general, then if you can show probable cause that all that exists, then you will probably be successful at getting your no-knock warrant, which these guys obviously were able to do. So that is sort of the Reader's Digest version, at least, of what they're reporting now, of some of the information that that Louisville had in terms of putting into that document that allowed them to get the no-knock warrant. Now, of course, that doesn't negate the concerns of the community, because obviously, you have an unarmed lady that was killed in her home, and she was shot, at least 7 times. There's absolutely no evidence outside of the surveillance, that at least what, the available information that shows that she was engaged in anything illegal. So that makes it even more horrific. And of course, the statements of her boyfriend, like, I had no idea who was coming in the house. I'm in the house sleeping, and all of a sudden I'm seeing armed people come through the door. So certainly you can understand him, firing off a round, and in out of fear for